Dorothy is bringing the Redemption Tour to the Palladium in Worcester, Massachusetts on September 7th with Eddie and the Getaway. Tickets are on sale now. Click the link in the show notes of this episode to get them. This is the Mistress Carrie Situation Report for August 21st, 2025. Youngblood has been the topic of conversation internationally since he killed the song Changes at the Back to the Beginning final Black Sabbath and Ozzy show in Birmingham last month. Well, now his documentary, Are You Ready Boy, is in cinemas this week. Directed by Paul Dugdale, who's worked with everyone from Dua Lipa and Coldplay to Taylor Swift, the film shows Youngblood, aka Dom Harrison, and his band in Berlin's legendary Hansa Studios, capturing them performing Idols for the first time. The reason for the whole project, Harrison explains, is that Idols is the most musically ambitious album yet, and he wants to prove to people that he can actually pull it off. Robin Zander from Cheap Trick has shared a new song called All She Wrote. The track follows his previous solo single, Nobody's Home, reflecting on the struggle of communicating while also acknowledging that sometimes no amount of sincerity can bridge the gap between one another, he said. The recurring theme of Maybe That's All She Wrote describes that universal melancholy feeling of lost connections and the hope to create new ones someday that mean just as much as the lost ones. Cheap Trick also announced that they're extending their fall tour in 2025 while they put the finishing touches on a new album. Coheed and Cambria have reimagined their song Goodbye Sunshine with Nick Hexum from 311. The new Endless Summer version was written from scratch with a tropical vibe in mind. Helping capture that vision is the featured co-production of tenured dub producer and mixer Scientist, who also brought horns, keys, and additional percussion elements to the song. Coheed and Cambria are currently out on tour with a stop at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway in Boston on August 30th. Tom Morello is once again using his platform to decry political and humanitarian injustices, targeting Donald Trump's militaristic use of U.S. immigration and customs enforcement. He just put a playlist together on Spotify called, quote, Fuck ICE, totaling 65 songs. The playlist is a deep curation of protest songs and politically charged anthems with an emphasis on tracks that celebrate diversity and inclusion. He released a statement on Instagram saying, rocking a little soundtrack to enjoy while you drive those bastards out of your neighborhood. Last week, Graceland welcomed fans in Memphis for the annual Elvis Week celebration. During the festivities, Graceland debuted 2 new exhibits inside Elvis Presley's Memphis Entertainment Complex. The first, Colonel Parker's World of Show Business, shares the story of Elvis's legendary manager, Colonel Tom Parker. Graceland in Red is the second exhibit to open in Graceland during Elvis Week. Elvis purchased the home in 1957, and his mother Gladys had her conservative style prevail throughout the traditional blue and white decor. However, in 1974, Graceland underwent dramatic redecoration, with Elvis selecting rich colors and plush textures and new statement pieces for his home, featuring red satin drapes, oil lamps, mermaid tables, peacock stained glass panels, and red shag carpet. Even the late Brian Wilson's funeral couldn't smooth over Al Jardine and Mike Love's contentious relationship. In a recent interview with Rolling Stone, Jardine ripped his fellow Beach Boys member for making a speech about himself, saying, quote, Mike wanted everybody to know that he wrote every single word of Good Vibrations. I didn't feel the compassion. Let's just put it that way. Mike's got some serious megalomania problems. In his own speech, Jardine swiped back, saying, Mike, I've written some songs with Brian myself. We wrote one song called Surfing Down the Swansea River. It was just as good as Good Vibrations, he said. I was focusing on Brian, and Mike was more focused on Mike. I think that is what it boiled down to. Aerosmith vocalist Steven Tyler is demanding to go to trial this fall as scheduled in a civil lawsuit accusing him of sexual assault in the 1970s, saying that he wants his, quote, day in court rather than have the case continue to drag on. He's facing a looming trial in October over accusations leveled by Julia Misley, who claims Tyler groomed and manipulated her as a teenager decades ago, and that he essentially admitted it by referring to her as his almost child bride in a memoir. Tyler's attorneys said for the past 2.5 years, Steven Tyler has been diligently preparing for and awaiting this day in court to defend himself. Tyler deserves to see this matter resolved on the current trial timeline so that he may have his day in court and not have this case continue to drag on. Gojira's Joe Duplantier has revealed the outlandish way that he found out that Ozzy Osbourne had passed away, saying that he had to announce the tragic news mid-show to thousands of shocked fans, recalling how he found out that Ozzy has passed. Telling Guitar World, "We were playing in Istanbul, 3 songs in, a fan put his phone up and we were playing Backbone. It said R.I.P. Ozzy, and I was like, what the hell? Please don't. I'm working up here." He continued, saying he initially refused to believe the news, but had to confirm it in between songs. He said, "When I got the chance, I rushed to the side and my manager confirmed that it was true." And last month, the world witnessed one of the most monumental concert experiences ever as a heavy metal fan, with Ozzy and Black Sabbath taking their final bow at the Back to the Beginning concert on July 5th. Though we still don't know exactly how much money was raised by the show for charity, the BBC is reporting that analysts from the University of Birmingham have estimated that the single-day event at Villa Park contributed a total of £33.8 million, or about $45.5 million in gross economic output across the UK. And Primus have once again announced they'll be closing out the year on stage. The band has announced they'll be playing a pair of shows at the Fox Theater in Oakland, California to close out the year. The concerts will take place December 30th and 31st, with unique sets planned for both nights. The general on sale for both shows is happening this Friday, August 22nd at 10 a.m. Pacific. And it turns out that there's more from Kitty's reimagining of their 1999 debut album, Spit. Earlier this week, the band released the debut of their newly re-recorded version of the title track, complete with the band's new music video. Now the band have announced a new 4-track EP called Spit 25, which sports a newly recorded version of 4 songs from that effort, including Brackish and Charlotte, as well as Do You Think I'm a Whore and the title track, Spit. Frank Hannon from Tesla has released a new instrumental single called Our Father's Love, which is featured on his forthcoming solo album Reflections, coming out on September 12th. And that's your sit rep. For more details on all of the stories, check the links in the show notes of this episode. And don't forget to like, share, follow, comment, and subscribe to the Mistress Carrie Podcast. New full-length episodes come out every Wednesday. Episode 272, featuring Rain Maida from Our Lady Peace, is available now.